The time is 11:39 a.m. local, and we are now just 17 minutes away from liftoff for our 65th Electron launch. We are back just over 3 weeks from our previous Electron mission from Rocket Lab's Launch Complex 1 on yet another beautiful day on New Zealand's east coast. Good morning and welcome to the launch of our next Electron mission called Full Stream Ahead for real-time space-based intelligence company BlackSky. Thank you for joining us. My name is Prachi Saknani and I am a systems engineer on the Space Systems team.
And I'm Hannah Curie and I'm a systems engineer in the Neutron team. We are super excited to be joining you today to send another Electron to space. Today's mission for our customer BlackSky is headed to a 470-kilometre circular low-Earth orbit with Gen 3, a new series of spacecraft that will join their constellation of Earth imaging satellites already on orbit. Some of those satellites were placed there on previous Electron missions, stretching all the way back to 2019, when Electron launches were still in their single digits.
Today's mission is our 10th overall launch for BlackSky, with a lineup of more missions scheduled to take place over this year and next to continue building out BlackSky's constellations. Their Gen 3 satellites, including the one going to space today, will be deployed from a Rocket Lab motorized light band, a separation system for satellites that we've provided to BlackSky for each of its launches on Electron. Here's more from BlackSky about their mission.
Hindsight is 20/20. Foresight is a superpower. BlackSky. Today, the speed of space-based intelligence meets the urgency of the moment. Unexpected events around the globe suddenly and dynamically alter relationships with allies and adversaries, force rapid national security decisions, and impact the health and safety of entire populations. That's why BlackSky is relied upon to be fast, focused, and flexible. Immediate insights are only possible when monitoring is both very frequent and very fast. Our unconventional satellite orbits and AI-driven automation help you get answers in minutes. It's real-time tactical intelligence that rapidly pinpoints changes, patterns, and anomalies. Intelligence only matters when it's deeply relevant to you. This is the industry's only purpose-built platform for dynamic monitoring, not static mapping. It's powered by multiple inputs in space, online, and on the ground. And to enhance the relevance of your outputs, data is automatically analyzed at machine speed. Our platform is flexible and highly intuitive, even easy to master. We give you the power to task satellites anonymously and securely, and to fully control the observation in your areas of interest. This is always-on, space-based intelligence in your hands. When you need to act, not just fast, but first, harness the power of a superpower. BlackSky.
Constellation building requires flexibility and control over how, when, and where your satellites are deployed. And that's a service we're glad to provide to BlackSky once again with today's latest launch.
Alrighty, we are at T-minus 13 minutes in the countdown now. Let's get an update from the mission control team as when they run their go, no-go poll for today's launch. Our operators and mission control will soon report with a go or no-go depending on the readiness for launch. They will evaluate everything from the payload status and the rocket's environmental conditions to propellant tank levels and whether or not the skies will remain clear for liftoff.
That's right, and from range control in Mahia, our operators there will report on the range's readiness and Launch Complex 1's ground systems to confirm the pad is ready for liftoff. All operators report up to the launch director in charge of operations, and today in mission control, our launch director is Julia Vembacher. Let's tune in now to the poll as that status update gets underway.
And to all operators, LDL mission code, we are proceeding now with the go-no-go sequence. Stage.
Stages go.
Avionics.
Avionics is go.
GNC.
GNC is go.
Recon.
Vcon is go.
T1.
T1 is go.
GC.
GC is go.
PLS.
PLS is go.
RSO.
RSO is go.
MET.
Met is go.
MM.
MM is go.
And LD sub.
LD sub is go.
The go-no-go sequence is complete. We are currently T-minus 11 minutes and 24 seconds and counting. We are go for the terminal count auto sequence at T-minus 10 minutes. From this time, the freebird procedure is in effect.
The countdown clock is continuing, and we are go for launch today for our 65th Electron mission. We are at T-minus 11 minutes and counting, squaring us up for a launch attempt right at 11:57 a.m. local time or 11:57 p.m. UTC. Now, if we need to delay for any reason, today's launch window extends until 2 more hours.
And without mission a beat, it's full stream ahead for BlackSky's next Data with Destiny. For today's 10th launch for our mission partners, we might be running out of toes, but not out of mission names.
Today's launch will deploy another Gen 3 satellite to orbit, which adds another 35-centimeter spatial resolution to BlackSky's imaging capabilities and improves on their already very high-resolution offerings to their customers. It's been quite a ride we've had with BlackSky, and today is no exception as we launch more of their spacecraft to orbit.
Speaking of launches, let's take a look at Electron on the pad at LC-1, our workhorse launch vehicle that puts the rocket in Rocket Lab. Electron is a 2-stage-to-orbit liquid-fueled launch vehicle designed specifically for small satellite missions. It's made from carbon composite material, which is a strong but lightweight structural material that gives Electron that sleek black look. There are 10 Rutherford engines across Electron, 9 engines at the bottom of the first stage, and a 10th with a larger nozzle designed for space on the second stage. All 10 of these Rutherfords are 3D printed and electrically powered by batteries. With a 3D printed combustion chamber, injectors, pumps, and main propellant valves, Rutherford has the most 3D printed components of any rocket engine in the world.
That's right. There's also what we call a kick stage, which sits at the top of the rocket within the fairing. This is a stage that deploys the mission satellites to their orbital placement within the constellation. The kick stage is highly precise at delivering satellites to space thanks to its onboard propulsion system called Curie, which has a miniature nozzle that's about the height of a small coffee mug. Curie is highly maneuverable and can deliver satellites to their targeted position within single-digit kilometers, which is just incredible accuracy within the vastness of space when you're moving at more than 28,000 kilometers an hour. The kick stage and Curie engine are so integral to Electron's reliability that we've flown them on all but one Electron launch. Outside of launch, the kick stage has been foundational to the spacecraft family of spacecraft that we build and operate today. A modified version of the kick stage and its propulsion system, known as Hyper-Curie, were in fact the basis of our spacecraft for a mission we sent all the way to the moon for NASA back in 2022 called Capstone.
"65 launches in, and we never get tired of checking out these views of Electron. We have now just 7 minutes left on the countdown clock. While we wait, let's check out the progress of our newest launch and landing pad under construction on the opposite side of the world in Virginia.
Launch Complex 3 within the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport on Wallops Island will soon be home to our medium-lift rocket Neutron. LC-3 is close to being finished ahead of our new rocket's debut launch later this year. Let's check it out.
My name is Sean DeMello. I'm the Vice President of Neutron Development here at Rocket Lab. LC-3 is located at the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport at the Wallops Flight Facility in Virginia. We chose Wallops for Neutron largely because it is a site that has an immense launch capacity and availability. There are a very few number of operators. In fact, we're the only ones operating out of Wallops right now going to orbit. So it is a very favorable choice for a new launch vehicle requiring a lot of launch availability. So Wallops is unique for Rocket Lab in the fact that we can launch Electron, HASTE, and Neutron all within the same overall launch complex itself. And we've got adequate propellant storage that allows us to turn around vehicles 24 hours apart. We have a lean and mean team out of Wallops who've done everything from designing the systems on the launch pad through to now actively constructing it and operating it. Here on out, our objectives are to complete all the system activation and performance test against all our test objectives. Once that's completed, the site is ready for a rocket and will be operational. And with construction and activation in full swing right now, we look forward to opening the pad here this summer.
Things are looking great on the Eastern Shore with LC-3, and hopefully you were able to catch that quick view of our second Electron launch site, Launch Complex 2, that sits right next door to Launch Complex 3. I can't wait for the day we have both pads activated and 2 rockets ready to go at the same time from Wallops Island, Virginia. That's the dream.
Right now, though, back to New Zealand, where we are getting closer to liftoff with our partners at BlackSky. We are now just in the final moments of the count, with only 5 and a bit minutes remaining until launch. Soon, our launch operators will be checking in with the near final status updates. From T-minus 2 minutes, the first call will be to confirm that Electron is on internal power. This means the rocket is circulating its own power supply instead of drawing from an external source. The call-out also means that Electron's flight computer has taken over the countdown and is handling the final pre-launch procedures, ensuring precise timing and coordination for liftoff right at that T0 mark. The next call-out will be to talk about AFTS, which is our Automated Flight Termination System. This means that the rocket's guidance system for launch safety is activated and its telemetry systems are verified to be transmitting data accurately to mission control. After that, we can expect to hear confirmation that Electron's liquid oxygen propellant loading is complete and that the system is in circulation inside the vehicle. Soon after that will come the call that Electron's tanks are pressed for flight. This means the system is fully pressurized and ready for launch.
Then you'll hear high-flow engine purge is enabled. By this stage, Electron's Rutherford engines are primed and ready, and final actions are taking place to ensure they'll ignite right on time. Next, the launch director will remind operators of our position in the countdown, usually at around 20 seconds to launch, before speaking again to count down to liftoff from T-minus 10 seconds. Then we'll be on our way to space for our 65th launch. All right, we're bringing up the audio channels now for Mission Control to listen into that countdown in real time, and we'll be back with you shortly after liftoff.
To all operators, LDR mission code. From now on, there should be no red flags on your critical LCCs. VCON LD on mission code.
LD VCON.
VCON lock the auto sequence and confirm.
Auto sequence is locked.
And VCON confirm all flight computer ASCIIs are green.
Confirmed.
To all operators, we are go for auto sequence start at T-minus 2 minutes. LD is go for launch.
Vehicle is fully on internal power, AFTS is green and enabled for flight.
LOX load is complete. System is in recirculation. Anti-geysering is disabled.
Stage 1 and Stage 2 tanks are pressed for flight.
High flow engine purge enabled.
T-minus 20 seconds and counting. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Electron is clear to pad, safe ground systems.
Beginning pitch over.
Stage 1 propulsion nominal.
Electron is full stream ahead for its 65th launch. Soon we'll be at maximum aerodynamic pressure as Electron continues to accelerate. And that max Q moment will be called out by the launch operators in mission control soon, so let's listen in.
Electron is supersonic. Approaching max Q.
High voltage battery discharge nominal.
Cleared max Q.
Confirmation from Mission Control, we have successfully cleared max Q and are on track to reach the next milestone, MECO, or main engine cutoff, in approximately 90 seconds. We are now travelling at 2,500 kilometres an hour and have reached an altitude of 22.8 kilometres and climbing.
MECO on
AOS
Electron
Chatham
requires
Station.
3 critical actions to occur.
Guidance is nominal.
First, the 9 Rutherford engines on the first stage, which are currently powering Electron, will shut down as scheduled. Second, the first stage will disengage and separate from the second stage, falling back to Earth. And then third and finally, the single Rutherford engine on the second stage will ignite and continue to propel Electron on its mission to orbit. Let's listen in for those calls from Mission Control.
Stage 1 propulsion holding nominal. Stand by for MECO in 30 seconds.
"15 seconds to staging.
Entered burnout detect mode.
MECO confirmed.
Stage separation confirmed.
Stage 2 ignition confirmed.
ECOMs are in from Mission Control, confirming a successful MECO, Stage SEP and Stage 2 ignition, and everything continues to look nominal for Electron. We are now approaching fairing jettison, where you should be able to see Electron's fairing halves split and fall away after they separate. Now that we're through the thick of the atmosphere, we no longer need this nose cone to protect BlackSky's satellite. So, to save us carrying dead weight, we jettison them ahead of payload deployment.
Guidance is nominal.
Watch out for those fairings on your screen shortly.
Fairing separation confirmed.
There go the fairing halves, and from this view we can get a
Stage 2
good look at
propulsion nominal.
BlackSky's Gen 3 satellite
HVB
integrated
discharge
onto the
nominal.
kick stage, exposed now to the conditions of space. Looks like the BlackSky team wrote a welcome to space message on their satellite as well. We are now reaching a velocity of over 8,800 kilometers an hour, passing through 138 kilometers in altitude. We've talked about how Curie is famous for its spot-on payload delivery, but what about the journey there? That's where our GNC, or Guidance, Navigation, and Control team, comes in. The GNC system onboard Electron processes a continuous stream of sensor data about the rocket's attitude or orientation, its altitude, and a whole bunch of other things right to the flight computer, which checks how far off we are from the planned flight path and makes tiny adjustments via the Rutherford nozzle positions and the Stage 2 reaction control thrusters.
Stage 2 propulsion holding nominal.
Electron is the pioneer of many firsts, including the first battery-powered rocket engine. The batteries powering the engine on your screen are our third-generation high-voltage batteries, or HVBs. The batteries were redesigned from the ground up, including new cells, internal and external structures, and internal logic, but have been made to be a fit-in replacement for the previous high-voltage batteries. Much like a lot of Electron, the
Guidance
external
is
structure
nominal,
is
200
carbon
seconds
composite
remaining.
and keeps the batteries pressurized because of the high voltage inside. The batteries also have better performance, meaning we now need fewer on stage 1.
And now it's time for a power shuffle with the hot swap of those Gen 3 HVBs up next.
Throttling down.
HVB discharge holding nominal, approaching hot swap in roughly 30 seconds. Hot swap successful.
Battery jettison confirmed.
Stage 2
Mission
propulsion
control
holding
there
nominal.
with confirmation of a successful hot swap. We are now 6 minutes and 48 seconds into the mission and traveling at 15,700 kilometers per hour. All is nominal for Electron and its Gen 3 payload.
HVB discharge holding nominal.
All right,
AFTS
T
has
plus 7 minutes and 16 seconds into the mission, and Electron is continuing at full stream. Our stage 2 burn has about 90 seconds remaining, and if you glance over to the right of your screen, we're sitting at about 25% of kerosene and LOX propellant remaining. Right now, 25.8 kilonewtons of thrust are cruising us along at over 18,500 kilometers an hour, shortly bound for the orbital velocity number that we're looking for, right around the 28,000 kilometers an hour.
A quick speed and altitude check for the mission. We are now reaching 23,000 kilometers per hour with an altitude of 205 kilometers and climbing. That means we're nearing the end of the second stage's journey with second engine cutoff on the horizon. During SECO, the single Rutherford engine will shut down, followed by the separation of the kick stage with its BlackSky payload into a transfer orbit. Let's listen out for that call now.
SECO confirmed.
Stage separation confirmed.
Nominal transfer orbit achieved.
Mission Control has just announced yet another flawless SECO and confirmation that the kick stage has successfully separated and has entered its coast phase around Earth. That was the most energy-consuming part of our launch over with, but we're not done yet. The coast phase will last approximately 40 more minutes or so before the kick stage gets ready to light up its Curie engine and change its trajectory to a circular orbit at 470 kilometers above Earth.
For now, we're going to take a quick break while the Curie engine travels around to the other side of the globe. For the next 40 minutes or so, you can track the mission's progress around Earth with this tracking animation. After we return, we'll run you through a little more detail on the innovative Curie engine and its payload deployment for BlackSky's Gen 3 satellite. We'll see you back here shortly. Welcome back to our full stream ahead mission for BlackSky on Electron's 65th launch. Today's mission soared into the skies at 11:57 local time from Launch Complex 1, Pad B, just 47 minutes ago. Electron breezed through all of the usual launch milestones like max Q, MECO and stage separation, battery hot swap, and then SECO and kick stage separation from the second stage, placing the kick stage and its payload into an elliptical transfer orbit of Earth.
The team in Mission Control are eagerly waiting the next milestone, which is Curie engine ignition. We've got a burn of just under 3 minutes today, and then 45 seconds later, we'll have Curie shutdown and then payload deployment of BlackSky's Gen 3 satellite. Ignition should be coming up in just a few moments, so let's throw it over to Mission Control and listen for them.
Curie ignition confirmed.
Confirmation from our operator there, successful Curie engine ignition. Now, the Curie burn duration is always an approximation, and that's because Electron is basically running itself. From T minus 2 minutes all the way up to payload deployment, the rocket is flying autonomously. Our extremely talented team programmed the flight computer to deploy the payload exactly where it needs to be. They'll work their way through making sure we have enough propellant at the various stages of flight, including the Curie burn. Running Monte Carlo simulations gives us various outcomes based on the parameters we set, but these are just simulations.
Curie cutoff happens precisely when it needs to, which today is approximately 51 minutes and 29 seconds after launch. Like Hannah said, the kick stage knows exactly where it needs to go and exactly how it needs to get there, and it's all up to the computer to make decisions based on the parameters we set. While today Curie will demonstrate our pinpoint accurate payload deployment record, it's been a very busy engine recently, proving out our spot-on re-entry missions with our Pioneer spacecraft, providing a perfect round trip to space. It was our second developed engine, also 3D printed like the Rutherford, and it joins our full lineup of 3D printed engines along with the newest addition, Archimedes.
You might recognize a trend here. All of our engines are named after famous physicists. All right, there's not long to go now in this kick stage circularization, so let's check back in with Mission Control.
Curie cutoff confirmed.
Nominal final orbit achieved.
There we go. Confirmation from Mission Control. Shutdown of the Curie engine means the payload deployment is up next. In around 30 seconds, we'll deploy the next Gen 3 satellite as part of BlackSky's Earth observation constellation.
Payload Gen 3 Unit 2, deployment confirmed.
That's payload deployment confirmed. Welcome back to space to BlackSky, and all the best with commissioning your next Gen 3 satellite in the coming days. That's our 10th mission complete now for BlackSky, and 2 for 2 on Electron launches for the constellation this year, though certainly not the last.
A huge congratulations to both the BlackSky and Rocket Lab teams for making this achievement possible. Hot on the heels of our previous launch just over 2 weeks ago, we promise there's plenty more to come. Stay tuned to our social channels to find out when and who will be launching next. But until next time, this is Rocket Lab Mission Control, signing off.